We brought you those headlines that CenturyTel is acquiring rival Qwest Communications, the price about $10 billion. Joining us right now on the phone with his reaction is Chris King. He is an analyst at Stifel Nicolaus in Baltimore. He is the top-ranked analyst on CenturyTel and second on Qwest. Chris, glad to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. Do you think this is a good deal? Are there cost synergies that seem appropriate?
Good morning. Yes, absolutely. I think this is a much rumored deal, certainly over the course of the last 12 months or so. It did happen a little bit more quickly than certainly we had envisioned. CenturyTel is less than 10 months away from closing its acquisition of Embark. So this is two very large deals for CenturyTel in a very quick period of time. But certainly CenturyTel's management team, in our view, is one of the best in the industry. So we do see very little in terms of integration risk. Certainly these are two companies with generally declining top-line businesses. We certainly do not expect that to change. But both companies are significant free cash flow generating machines and should continue to be for quite some time.
We don't want to underplay it, though, because, I mean, this is the biggest deal as far as U.S. telecom goes since the Alltel-Verizon combination back in 2008. So, I mean, this is a pretty significant move. Essentially, it seems like CenturyTel just wants broadband. Is that the takeaway?
Certainly this helps them in that regard. I think one of the prime assets here is actually Qwest's global long-haul assets, which certainly allows CenturyTel to play the game at a little bit of a different level, going up against the Verizon and AT&Ts of the world, at least in terms of their enterprise business. Still certainly going to be subscale to those guys, but certainly some very exciting assets here. And yes, this is certainly a large deal. I mean, Qwest is one of the original baby bells back to the U.S. West days. So,
and Chris, just last question here on CenturyTel. I mean, no worries about how they're going to finance this. As you said, this deal happened sooner than expected, and this is the second one they've bitten off. Correct.
No, there are no financing needs associated with this transaction. It is an all-stock deal. Certainly, if not de-levering, certainly very minimal increase in the leverage for CenturyTel, even in the near term, and certainly they have laid out some significant synergies here as well.
All right, Chris, and since you watch the space so closely here, any other mergers we should be on the lookout for? Any other potential partnerships you see out there?
Yeah, I think it's challenging, certainly on the wireline side, to come up with any. You have Frontier, which is still trying to close its acquisition of a little over 4 million Verizon access lines, which we do expect to close at some point within the next several months. You're really down to three large independent RLECs at this point: CenturyTel, Windstream, and Frontier. Don't necessarily see any near-term M&A activity among those three, although you certainly still have a lot of smaller carriers out there that could get gobbled up over time.
Chris, thanks so much. Appreciate the insight. Chris King, analyst at Stifel Nicolaus.
What is an IRU?
You mean IRU.
What is that?
It is an indefeasible right of use.
What is that?
It is a contractual agreement between operators of a communications cable.
What is that?
It is essentially a sale of the right to use some capacity on a telecommunications cable system.
What is that?
It means a telecommunications company is selling its fixed assets to a competitor.
Why would a telecommunications company sell assets to a competitor?
The company may have excess capacity or, in the case of Qwest, may be short of meeting earnings targets.
So you were telling me Qwest sold its fixed assets to meet its earnings targets?
Yes.
Wouldn't the sale of fixed assets be recognized as non-recurring revenue?
Yes.
So how did Qwest use IRUs to meet earnings targets?
Qwest recognized the proceeds as income from recurring operations.
Didn't the auditor object to this treatment?
No.
Why not?
The auditors accepted the treatment based on what management told them.
Surely you must be kidding.
No, I am not, and don't call me Shirley.
My head hurts. I need to think about this for a minute. You should pause this video while I think. Did Qwest purchase any IRUs?
Qwest bought IRUs from the companies that it was selling IRUs to.
So Qwest purchased IRUs from the same companies that it sold IRUs to?
Yes.
Did Qwest need the IRUs it purchased?
No.
So why did it purchase them?
Quest employees purchased IRUs in order to convince other companies to buy IRUs from them.
So Quest employees bought crappy IRUs to convince competitors to buy IRUs from them?
Yes.
Doesn't that mean that Quest was just swapping capacity with the competitor?
Yes.
Doesn't that mean that Quest should not have recognized revenue at all?
Yes.
But Quest recognized revenue anyway.
Yes.
Oh my heck. That is ridiculous. Didn't the auditor object to this treatment?
No.
Why not?
The auditor relied on what management told them.
You must be joshing me. This sounds like something Enron would do.
Enron was one of the companies that swapped IRUs with Quest.
I do not believe you. Next you are going to be telling me that Arthur Andersen audited Quest.
Yes. Arthur Andersen audited Quest.
The auditors at Arthur Andersen must not have learned about strategic reasoning.